Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Bava Kamma, Perek Vav, Chapter 6, Mishnah, Mishnah 4. Okay, so now the Mishnayos are going to start talking about the mazik, the damager of Aish, of fire. So the Mishnah reads, Hashaleach hasabe'era b'yad cheresh shaita v'katan. If someone sends a be'era is translated as a source of fire. It's not an actual fire, like a candle, like a flame, but it's a source of fire, like a hot coal. And he sends it biyad, or meaning he sends it biyad cheresh shaita v'katan, in the hands of a deaf mute, an insane person, or a minor. Okay, meaning he basically gave it to them. And what did they do? They then went and fanned it into a fire. You gave them this coal. It needed to be fanned into a fire. They fanned it. And with that, they went ahead and they burnt down another person's property. Okay, so they, as either the deaf mute or the insane person or the minor, they're not responsible. What about you, who you gave it to them? Says the Mishnah, Pater Medine Adam, you are exempt to pay under the laws of man, V'chayu Medine Shemayim, but you are obligated to pay based on the laws of heaven. Now, what that means is like this. I'm going to read to you from the notes. Although one must guard his fire to prevent it from doing damage, just as he must guard his animal to prevent it from doing damage. The first person in the Mishnah's case is not liable because he did not have a fire. He only had a hot coal, which is not considered a damaging force like a fire. It wouldn't necessarily do anything. It was the deaf mute, the insane person, or the minor who made the coal into a damaging force. So again, a coal, whatever this coal looks like exactly, maybe it's like a wooden ember or something, that it itself is not a damager yet. It needs to be made into a damager. It needs to be made into a flame. So when you gave it to the minor, let's say it wasn't a damaging flame. He made it into a damaging flame. And therefore, it's not your responsibility. It's not your full responsibility, let's put it that way. You're not considered a direct cause. You're considered an indirect cause. Now, however, if the first person handed over a fire, even just a flame, like a burning candle, to one of these people, he is certainly liable for any damage that it causes, since it was his fire and he failed to guard it properly. Right? He had this candle, he made a fire, he gave it to them. That's called he's not watching his fire. So in that case, he definitely would be 100% liable, even b'dinei adam, even the laws of man. Now, but the Mishnah says he's exempt. Why? Because he's considered indirect. He's a cause. What he had was not, what he gave, let's say the minor, was not something that could damage. He was the cause of the damage because he gave it to a minor who turned it into a flame, turned it into a fire. So you're not obligated b'dinei adam. That means the Beis Din, the rabbinical court, will not get involved to force you to pay, but you're a chayav b'dinei shemayim. In heaven, you are, according to the law of heaven, you are obligated. That means that you have a religious duty to pay. I'm reading from the notes. That the person has a religious duty to pay, and if he fails to do so, he is a thief. However, the court cannot force him to pay. Meaning, did you damage? You were a cause of damage, and you were enough of a cause of a damage that you are responsible from the point of, let's call it a religious point. In Shemayim, they hold you responsible. However, the Beis Din does not get involved in this kind of indirect cause of damage. So that's what it means when it says, Pater b'dinei adam, you're exempt by the laws of man, which means the rabbinical court, the Beis Din, will not get involved. V'chai b'dinei shemayim, but in the laws of heaven, you are liable because in Shemayim, they consider you a damager and you must pay. Just that no one can enforce you. It's between you and Hashem. Now, next case. Shalach b'yad pikeach. Let's say you sent this source of fire in the hands of a person who's a pikeach. He's a competent person, right? He knows what to watch and to guard and to take care of things. Okay, so you put this thing in the hands of the competent person. He went ahead and burned another person's property. So who's liable? Habikeach chayav. the competent person is obligated to pay for the damage, even under the laws of man. And the one who sent it is completely exempt, even under the laws of heaven. Okay, that's the halacha that Mishna is saying here. You send this be'era, the swords of fire, you sent it in the hands of a competent person. The competent person is liable. He has to pay. He has to pay b'dinei adam, according to the laws of man. The bezdin would make him pay, would get involved to make him pay. And you, the person who gave it to him, are not liable even b'dei shamayim, even based on the heavenly laws. You have no responsibility here whatsoever. Now, let's get more understanding to this. Again, the notes read, the first person is completely exempt because he entrusted it to a person of sound mind, will be relied upon to prevent it from causing damage. This is true not only where he gave him a hot coal, but even if he gave him a flame, which is a burning candle. Okay? So I gave him a burning candle. I gave him a damager. But he's a competent person. He's got enough seichel to be able to watch it and take care of it. And therefore, when I gave it to him, I have no responsibility. I gave it to him. He accepted. He has enough seichel to know not to cause it, to not make a fire with it. And therefore, he's the one who's completely liable and not the person who gave it to him. Now again, if you read the case of the Mishnah, he gave it to him. Just gave it to him. And even if he gave him a candle, he's a competent person. The person who gave it to him is not responsible. What if the first person told the second person, the competent person, go burn down that guy's field. He gave him a candle and he said, go light his pile of grain. You sent him to do it. What happens then? Are you liable then?
Sure.
The answer is no. Furthermore, the first person is exempt even if he told the second one to do the damage. This is despite the fact the second person would then be serving as his agent. And the rule is that the actions of an agent are viewed as though they were done by the one who sent him. Right? That's the principle. Shluchai shel adam k'maisei. The agent of a person is like himself. However, the halacha is, since the first person told him to commit a sin, meaning damaging a person's property, he can say, I did not expect him to listen to my instructions rather than the instructions of God. That is why ein shliach ledavar aveira. There is no shliach. There is no agent to do something that's a sin. We're talking about a competent person. He knows it's a sin, and if he knows it's a sin, then the person who told him to do it can say, I never thought he was going to do it. He knows not to do it. He should be listening to Hashem, not to me. Therefore, if the agent goes ahead and does the damage, it is his decision, and only he is responsible. So therefore, when the Mishnah says, if you sent it in the hands of a competent person, the competent person is chayiv, that's talking about not only if it's a coal, even if it's a flame, even if you told him, take the flame and burn down this other person's, let's say, pile of grain. Okay, we will stop here. To be continued. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi. So what is this